So, what I have in front of me today is probably the most recognizable vacuum that Eureka has made. This is one of the later models that shares the same motor with pretty much all current Hoover wind tunnel models, with a few modifications done to the motor on these. And it shares the same motors as the Eureka airspeed lineup. Of course, I call this the OG airspeed. And of course, it is the Eureka The Boss Smartvac. So this was in the back of the thrift store that I used to be pretty much a regular to. And this was labeled as scrap. It was written right there, I think. I don't remember exactly what's wrong with it. I think it was clogged and the belt was just gone. But it wasn't scrap. Of course, the bag door has a bit of a hinge problem with it, as you can see. But other than that, it's pretty much good to go. It didn't have much problems, except for now the bag is pretty full, so it doesn't want to close. The door itself doesn't want to close on me. Hold on a second. Alright, so this was labeled scrap, and so was a Smartvac Pet Lover. Which the Smartvac Pet Lover experienced a broken clutch mechanism. And since this clutch mechanism also doubles as a motor mount, the part where it mounts to the hinge right there broke, which shredded the cover right here, and it destroyed the motor inside. The broken clutches are a common problem on these. Other than that, they're relatively well built, although I don't understand why they just couldn't make the clutch one assembly and the motor mount, be the metal one like the one over here, but they didn't really think about that. Yeah. So some people don't like these specifically because of this clutch assembly, and people don't tend to like it because of the way that the bag dock is set up. There is a point in the back, and there are just a point there and there that you latch the bag collar onto. And apparently, people tend to miss the back catch, and that would result in the bags falling off and everything getting sucked into the motor. Usually, that wouldn't lead to anything major except them saying, hey, why did they design it this way? But apparently some people take that as if one vacuum does it, then all vacuums do it. Though it could also be just, worn out bag collars from taking them off so much, as that is what happened with my Simplicity 7300 last week. So, yeah. This, I think, is a good idea. A nice big tube allows for easy airflow and very clog resistant, so you won't have to deal with clogs as much on these. Although they do not follow through with the same design on the actual hose. It's a very narrow hose. This tip breaks relatively often, and this little tube right here tends to get clogged a lot. Now, this is the Smartvac out of 4 that I still have. You saw I had an older, darker red one that fell victim to the same clutch failure the pet lover did, but that was discovered as I was taking it apart to properly service it. And I had a green one that I gave to my grandma that I should probably take in for a tune-up. But anyways, I'll give you a little demonstration. If you don't know, these things are absolute carpet cleaning beasts. Usually it's supposed to stop whenever it's doing that. But, oh well. Sometimes you just gotta let the machine pull itself, and that's what I'm doing right now. This thing has a lot of agitation for something that has a wooden brush roll, which I think is relatively cool. It really shakes the floor. So, big machines are usually from Eureka are associated with a lot of noise because a lot of their machines that were larger were louder. These things aren't too loud. And for $150, I think is how much these were, they were pretty good if you weren't so hard on them, because the clutch system definitely is a failure point for these, mainly because they also doubled as a motor mount. There were a ton of revisions of them. That's why some of these have absurdly long model numbers. And unfortunately, the cord is not too long on these, which you would expect a longer cord for a sub-$100 vacuum. But it's a store brand vacuum, so there isn't a whole lot of thought put into these. The wands, it's a double piece wand. These came with quite a nice variety of tools. Usually there would be a power paw right here. I have 2 power paws, one is yellow, one is green. These came with the yellow ones. They were usually right here, sometimes they'd be back here. But there is no holder, so I'll probably find a holder or buy one, because apparently you can buy a holder for the regular power paw but not the wide track, which I need for, but oh well. Also comes with an upholstery brush, a very nice dusting brush. I mean, this is a good dusting brush, and a crevice tool, which is short, but oh well. They are relatively heavy, as expected for a vacuum of this size. They are not designed to be lightweight. This one was made in 2011, model 4870 MZ3. Made by Electrolux, assembled in Mexico. These would later be labeled the Air Extreme before they got discontinued. The Air Extreme was the airspeed colors, the early airspeed colors with no headlight. So yeah. Should you have bought this when this was available? I'd say if you are not hard on your vacuum, definitely. Because this thing is quite powerful. Although, you'd have to be pretty strong to make this thing work, because they are very heavy. But if you are harder on your vacuum, then you probably should avoid this, because that clutch assembly is known for breaking, as I've said a couple of times. But other than that, it is one powerful machine. I give this thing a solid 8 out of 10. Out of all of the vacuums I have tested that have come from big box stores, these are probably some of the best. Anyways, I'm Jack's Vacs and Safety signing off with another review. I'll see you all in the next one.